right? So in Venezuela, or not in Venezuela, but the Venezuelan president's plane was seized by the United States and flown back to Florida. Hit a like for the algorithm. Let's go ahead and get it started, y'all.
Breaking news, some exclusive live pictures that we're showing you right now of the seized plane belonging to Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. Maduro, we should note, is not on board, but the plane was seized by officials for violating U.S. sanctions. CNN's Kylie Atwood joins me now. Kylie, this is pretty extraordinary. This does not happen, obviously, every day where U.S. authorities go in and seize the plane of a head of state, but that is essentially what's happened this morning. Can you break this down for us?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the plane of Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela, is now in the hands of the United States. As you can see there, those images demonstrate that it has just landed in Florida. It was seized by U.S. authorities in.
Why is somebody asking me if I'm wearing makeup? I don't. Why would I wear makeup? Do I look like I wear makeup? I just got good skin. That's that Tej Hanley. 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. If you're not a part of the Tej pack, then you're going to be looking crazy. All right? Listen, go and get your Tej. Go and get your Tej. I keep telling y'all I take care of myself. No, I don't have on no makeup. Makeup? You think I'm putting on makeup in the morning in order to come and talk to y'all on the Millionaire Morning Show? No, I just got good skin, baby. And make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. What's wrong with y'all?
In the Dominican Republic. That is according to multiple U.S. officials who spoke with our colleague Priscilla Alvarez about this. And how this all came to fruition, Jim, is that this plane was in the Dominican Republic in recent months. We don't know exactly why, but that presented the opportunity for U.S. authorities to work with authorities in the Dominican Republic to actually make up a plan and seize the plane. And just to give folks context, this plane is effectively the Air Force One of Venezuela. This is a plane that cost about $13 million, the U.S. estimates. It's been used by Maduro to travel around the world, to make visits, to see other world leaders and the like. It's now in the hands of the U.S. government. It's an extraordinary move. The U.S. has for years been trying to disrupt the flow of goods and finances, money going into Venezuela. For example, they have disrupted luxury cars going into the country. But we should note that this is just such a bold move because, according to one of those U.S. officials who spoke with our colleague, this is unheard of and sends a signal that no one is out.
Hold on. Let me help you to understand something. I just have good skin, okay? See that? I don't have bumps. I don't have bruises. It ain't no camera work. Yeah, I do got to shave my head a little bit. See all the little stubble, whatever. I just got good skin. See that? Ain't no filters. Ain't none of that. No makeup. Just got good. Don't be jealous. See my neck match my skin color. Don't be jealous. Ain't no filters. Ain't none of that. This is just straight up Teach Pack. Anton, drink water, looking good, living a good life, teeth beautiful. You know what I'm saying? We just look good. Let me stop disrupting and let's get to this. Don't be distracted. Let's focus.
Out of the reach of U.S. sanctions. So they clearly had their eye on this plane for a while that was being used by the president of Venezuela, and now it is in U.S. custody. Now, the process here is that now that it is in the United States, Venezuela can petition for the plane. So we'll watch and see what happens there. But also, the United States can collect evidence from the plane. We just saw some folks heading into the plane, U.S. authorities heading in there with what appeared to be a recording device. They'll be able to collect evidence in terms of what the president of Venezuela was doing potentially on that plane. We'll watch and see how this all unfolds. Jim?
So the first thing that I have to ask y'all is, all of these jokes aside, let's get down to the business, y'all. Let's focus. I know my skin is gorgeous. If any of y'all ever see me in person, you're going to love me. You're going to love me. But let's get down to business and let's refocus, all right? Um, why is the United States of America seizing the president, the current sitting president's plane? Now, it's a couple different theories on my part based off of the fact that I am familiar with a lot of what's going on internationally. So the first things first is that we know that the United States of America is upset at Venezuela for a few reasons. The first reason that it's upset at Venezuela or the president of the United or president of Venezuela is because they don't recognize him as the president anymore because they're saying that he has influence over the election and that he's stealing an election, and that they don't recognize him as the president. They recognize him as the outgoing president, and they only recognize somebody that unseated him over in Venezuela in a recent democratic election that they had, right? So that's number one, right? Who knows how they're working with them in order to try to make this guy, because they saying that Venezuela can, petition the United States to get the plane back, which they saying it's only a $13 million plane, which is crazy to me to think that the president of Venezuela is only traveling on a $13 million plane. It's like that's the equivalent of Air Force One, but Air Force One is way different than that. That's number one, right? Number two, the immigration that's coming into this country and whether or not Venezuela is working with the United States with immigration, how is that influencing how the United States of America is treating Venezuela itself? Trump told y'all that Venezuela has embarrassed the United States of America over the last 3.5 years. They let out all of their prisoners. And then we know, or we can assume, right? Assume that the United States of America plays a huge role in what's happening over in other countries, including Venezuela. One of the things that they was doing and Kamala Harris was doing during her administration under Biden was that they were going to different countries and petitioning them to do certain things. One of the things that they were advocating for is some of the same things that Obama ushered in, and then Kamala Harris is continuing under this current administration, which is the Alphabet Community Agenda. Why? We have no idea. But they were telling places like Ghana, and Ghana refused the United States of America, so we don't know how they paying on the back end for that because we know that it's conversations that we're not privy to. But they were telling Ghana that they need to change their laws to allow for people to be able to do some of the things that we're doing here in America that we don't even want as conservatives, right? And so we don't know how international relations are playing out with Venezuela because this is unprecedented for United States to seize their plane in a completely different place. I think that they were over in the Dominican Republic, fly it over to Florida, and then said have Venezuela to petition for the plane back while they see evidence and going through the plane itself. That's crazy. And then last but not least, energy, oil, all of that stuff. So, of course, we know that it's always a small issue that turns into a big issue that allows for us to go in and pillage resources from other nations or to foster better relationships with other nations, depending on what it is that we give them or what military aid or what it is that we use against them and things like that. But I think it's way more to the story than just, oh my God, we don't recognize him. Let's take his plane. This story is going to continue to unfold, and I'm going to be right on top of it.
Yeah, Kylie, we do want to emphasize to our viewers, you are looking at live exclusive pictures right now, or almost live. It happened just a little while ago, of these law enforcement officials. These are live pictures, as a matter of fact, of these law enforcement officials sort of circling this plane, going in and out of this plane. It's landed in Fort Lauderdale right now, but as Kylie was saying a few moments ago, it was seized in the Dominican Republic. And Kylie, as you were saying, this is a very aggressive move on the part of the Biden administration to go and do this while Venezuela is in the middle of a lot of political turmoil right now.
That's right. So we just had.
I don't think that this is a brownie point for Democrats because most people that vote for the Democratic Party are usually uninformed voters or people that are already tied to and dedicated to the Democratic Party, right? So if you're trying to influence an election, then you have to go against Republicans. You don't really have to do anything for yourself. That's been the whole play. The whole play for the Democratic Party, especially for Kamala Harris, and over the years, is not to say, yo, we doing this for you. It's to say we gonna demonize the other guy. You don't really want to go with them. You just want to go with us. Republicans say, listen, this is what we've done for you. This is what we're going to continue to do for you. This is how we're going to allow for your business to thrive. This is how we're going to remove the restrictions from doing this. Yo, you shouldn't be overly taxed. We need to lower the taxes or whatever. Democrats say, hey, listen, we need to take more from them in order to make sure that you guys are happy. And this is what you don't want to go back to. They focus on their opponent. Republicans more or less focus on what it is that the people want. And so most of the people that are tied to the Democratic Party, they're more focused on how they feel versus whether or not you're going to be successful in whatever it is that you do. One of the things that Obama don't get credit for is he went and killed, who did he kill? Oh, Osama bin Laden. I think Obama was the one that is credited for taking out Osama bin Laden. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. objectively speaking, Obama is the one that took out Osama bin Laden. It was under his regime, I believe. Hold on, let me make sure because I don't want to be giving false information. Let me just double check. Let me double check. And they say that they buried him at sea. I don't believe it. Okay. He was killed in 2011. Okay, so yes, that is credited with Barack Obama. I don't know why they was okay, so it do get a little bit murky. I will give you that. And that um they say that they buried him at sea. Why would they bury Osama bin Laden at sea? So of course that got a little bit murky. So you went and killed him, extract his body, and then as y'all was at sea, you just dumped him over. I don't believe that. Obviously, you just can't sell me a camel in Detroit. But he is largely credited with taking out Osama bin Laden. Let's get back to my point. But he gets no credit from that from the Democratic Party. That's not something that they ever champion. Why? Because people that are Democrats don't care. They don't care about international relations. They don't care about the money that we send into Ukraine. They don't care about whether or not immigrants are coming into this country. They don't care about all of that stuff. They care about how they feel and whether or not they like the person. They liked whether or not Obama got swag. Swag. They care about whether or not he got a wife that's a blackety black. They care about whether or not Kamala Harris can cook collard greens inside of her bathtub. They don't care nothing about international relations and stuff like that. If you ask the average Democratic voter what is going on internationally, what is currently happening in Russia, what is the relationship with Kim Jong Un, why is Iran participating in the Israel Hamas war, all of that stuff. They don't know none of that. They don't even know any of the policies that she's proposing. So why would they be informed about what's going on with international relations? No, I don't believe that that's a coup for Democrats.
The elections in Venezuela over the summer, U.S. officials were highly concerned about the results of those elections, how those elections unfolded, calling into question the fact that Maduro came out victorious in those elections. So the fact that they have seized this plane sort of builds on the tension that has only been escalating in recent years between the United States and Venezuela. Of course, there have been some cooperation between the two countries in terms of a prisoner swap that we saw recently. But beyond that is a really tense relationship. And the Biden administration making it very clear that they are not going to hold back. They're going to go after Maduro and really try and seize anything he has in terms of incoming revenue, and all of that enable him to travel around the world. Now no longer able to do that on this plane.
And you were just saying a few moments ago, this is that country's version of Air Force One, and so this is not a small thing. And Kylie, what are these police officers doing outside the plane right now? You can see several officers going in and out of the plane. They're taking pictures.
Reading that super chat shortly.
They're collecting evidence, Jim. And so we don't know exactly what they're going to find on that plane. There are still some questions that we're looking to learn in terms of why this plane was sitting in the Dominican Republic for a number of months here. But it is noteworthy that the authorities from the DR did work with the United States on these efforts. We don't know the last time that Maduro was on this plane. We do know, as I said, that there are images of him traveling around the world, meeting with world leaders on this exact plane. So it'll be interesting to see what they find on board, notes from those types of visits and the like, potentially. We'll just have to watch and see what investigators share with us. We have put in requests for comment from, of course, the Department of Justice, DHS, and the State Department to provide us with more context with regard to how this all came together.
Let me go to a different news source just so we can get the full picture, because we don't want to just depend on one news source. We often go to Fox News, CNN, ABC, MSNBC, all of that. So I want to make sure that we sourcing through different news sources just to be able to get the full picture so we can know what's going on. And as everything unfolds, I'll bring you up to speed throughout the week. Somebody says, Tom Dog, you see how HBCUs are crying for more money now. Yep, they always gonna be broke. Oh, trust me. I'm going to talk about it on After Hours tonight. Make sure y'all tune in to After Hours. I got a good show that's going to be tuned in for After Hours tonight. Let's go over to CBS Miami, I believe.
So now at 11, the United States seized a plane belonging to Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. Tonight, the Maduro regime is reacting.
CBS News Miami's Anna McAllister joins us from Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport, where that plane sits tonight.
Sources say this aircraft is Maduro's equivalent to Air Force One.
I agree
the
with you,
seizure
Maddie, but we
happening
always gotta
after
compare and
investigators
contrast.
believe that this airplane was violating U.S. sanctions, among other criminal issues. The jet that often flies with Venezuela's leader, Nicolas Maduro, is in Fort Lauderdale. It was seized in the Dominican Republic by
crazy.
Homeland Security investigations after they determined it was illegally purchased by Venezuela for $13 million and smuggled out of the U.S. so Maduro and his associates could use it.
It says that HSI Miami.
How are we so involved all of a sudden after the Venezuelan election that we disagree with who the winner of the election is? Now, of course, it is possible that there is election interference in that particular case, no different than what's going on here in the United States of America. But how do we determine how to administer justice and what's done, who purchased what with they funds? Unless we piss and unless we want to leverage this against them.
HSI on the whole and its partners have the expertise, the global reach, and the partnerships to impact anyone, including heads of state who think they're untouchable.
HSI officials say they've had their eye on Maduro for years and that the seizure is just part of a lengthy investigation.
We've disrupted the flow of over $2 billion and indicted over 30 members of the Maduro regime, associates, and facilitators.
The move comes after outrage and protest across the world following the results of July's Venezuelan presidential election.
And I'm gonna be honest, this could be true, but it could not be true. So I don't go based off of what people say. I don't go based off of what the government is always telling me. They tell us a lot of things, and so you got to sift through it to try to mine it out, and that's what we do here on the Millionaire Morning Show.
A race Maduro claims he won. But the United States isn't acknowledging Maduro as the winner, but rather opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez. Monday night, Venezuela's prosecutor's office issued an arrest warrant for Gonzalez, claiming he failed to respond to three.
Wait. What is that? Let me see something.
Office issued an arrest warrant for Gonzalez, claiming he failed to respond to 3 summons to testify about an opposition website which published detailed results of the country's disputed presidential election. Maria Corina Machado, another
Sounds like something similar that they did to Trump.
opposition leader and supporter of Gonzalez, taking to X with this statement, saying, "They have lost all sense of reality by threatening the president-elect. They only succeed in uniting us further and increasing the support of Venezuelans and the world for Edmundo Gonzalez. Serenity, courage, and firmness, we move forward." As for the seizure of the plane, the Venezuelan government describes it as piracy and claims that the U.S. is escalating aggression towards Maduro's government.
Sounds like we starting to get involved in another war. Yo, listen. Based off of what the news is telling us, okay? Let's just conclude this like this. Based off of what the news is telling us, they basically saying that him and his regime is Putin light. You know what I'm saying? Leveraging their power in order to enrich themselves, fly around the world, and not being recognized. Now that he's been elected out, and they're saying that he is trying to still control what happens in a presidential election in order to maintain power. That we don't recognize him no more. So now we're gonna start putting pressure on him, and they're saying, "Listen, you escalating tensions with us. What is it that you really want with us?" So on and so forth. So honestly, I understand that we got to participate in international relations, but I would just prefer that we just don't keep spending money and start putting ourselves in more conflict. Honest to God, can we fix home? Can we fix Oakland? Can we fix San Francisco so that another 49er, San Francisco 49er rookie don't get shot? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking.